And so these guys are truly experts, and they are doing business at a very high level, or have done business at a very, very high level, even in a shifting market. So we'll start with this beautiful young lady right here on the end. Would you please tell us your name? And by the way, if you want to write down their name and their contact information right now, would be a good time to do it. So if you do need to reach them later, y'all feel free to get your cell phone number, email address, or website, whichever is good for you. Michael Ann?
Michael Ann Byerly, licensed in Tampa, Florida, Max agent coach and bold coach. My family members over here. And what else would you like me to say? You can easily reach me at michaelann@kw.com.
Okay, great.
MICHAELANN, one word, @kw.com.
My name is Jeff Glover from Detroit, Michigan, and you can reach me at jglover@jeffgloverassociates.com. That's jglover, Glover, @jeffgloverassociates.com.
Josh Bass from Vancouver, Canada.
Canada!
And you A's not in my email address. You can reach me at joshbath@kw.com. JOSHBATH. It's like it sounds. At kw.com.
Okay, great, awesome panel. So here's what you guys came for: to speak with ease and confidence in controlling a conversation with great questions every time, right? What are those great questions that you ask? And then in each call with an appointment, so that you either get an appointment or a referral. So let's go to the first question. And what I'd like to ask you guys starting off is, at some point, most of us did not have scripts. We all agree with that. And we sort of winged it, didn't we? So at some point in your career, you probably went from winging it to being somewhat scripted. Would that be safe to say that's true? So where was that point in your career, and why did you do it? Who'd like to take that? Go ahead, Josh.
It was about year 8 in the business, and I was earning around $50,000 a year. I was working hard, and I had the odd buyer, but I just wasn't quite getting to the next level. Someone in the office told me about Mike Ferry scripts, and then handed them to me. And that's really when I picked up scripts and started making calls. Actually, at that point, too, I realized I didn't know you could make calls. You could call expireds or call your script influence. So they told me the same thing at that point.
That was 8 years?
That was 8 years into the business, and at that point, my business quadrupled.
Wow. Okay, great. Thank you.
My story is actually a little different. When I first got into the business, I had somebody hand me that big, huge book of scripts from day one. So I actually thought that all agents called for sale by owners and expireds and past clients. And so I just thought that that's what everyone was doing. And so I picked up the book and I just started doing it. It really wasn't until I hired a coach where I started role-playing and really refining my skills with it.
When was that in your career, by the way?
It was about 2 or 3 years into it.
Did that make a difference hiring a coach?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, your business did really take off to the next level then?
I went from 40 transactions to 100 in the first year of having a coach.
Woo! Wow. That's worth paying for, coach. What do you think? Okay. Michael Ann, our coach on the panel.
And I can directly relate to from the time that I became scripted, because I got to about 87 deals by myself on energy and enthusiasm. And then when I actually learned how to sell, right, that's when my business went from 87 to 137 to 212 in 3 short years as a result of coaching and implementing scripts. Right? Because you all know you can get so far on energy and enthusiasm, and then you have to actually close. Right?
Absolutely. So here's the thing most people say, because I'm also a coach and I hear this a lot, is I feel too scripted. You know, when they're taking bold with Mike Lann or myself, and they're saying all the time, I don't know, that just sounds canned, it sounds scripted. So how, like that transition, explain the difference between, you know, you reading a script and it sounding scripted, and there are words in there like certainly, unfortunately, you know, there's words that we put in there for reasons when we use those scripts, right? How did you get comfortable with that? Any of them?
Interestingly, when I read those scripts, those were questions the way we answered those were questions that were being asked me all the time. And when I realized that those were just normal questions that people ask all the time, I just started responding back with the same answers that were on the scripts, and they just became more comfortable. They mostly sound mechanical when I was practicing them to myself. So on my own, it felt a little awkward. But when I was with somebody, I already knew how to have a conversation with people. I knew what that felt like, so I just responded with the answers that were on the scripts. And over time, they became mine. I owned them.
I would say we all need to put ourselves in situations where we're uncomfortable, and that's really what the scripts will do for a lot of us. And the more opportunities we have to be in situations where we're uncomfortable, the more we're growing, and the more we're growing, the better we're getting. So we all have our own scripts. The difference is that the ones that are in the book work, so we need to learn the ones that are in the book.
They've been tested?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so another question comes up, and this was part of what got you guys here, is discuss what is meant by ask for what you want. So what do y'all think that means? Ask for what you want when you're calling somebody.
It depends on who I'm calling, but if I'm calling an expired listing, I want an appointment. So I'm asking for an appointment. I'm also asking about their motivation to continue to sell. But I'm assuming that they're going to want to interview an agent at some point down the road, and it may as well be me. So I'm purposefully asking for the appointment.
So would y'all like to hear Josh give us an idea of what that sounds like? Let's make this real play right now. Do you mind doing that?
I'd love to.
Okay, now we haven't practiced this, but you do this every day.
I did not practice this.
Okay, so go ahead.
So ring, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is John Prescott there, please?
Yes, it's John. What can I do for you?
Hey, John. Thanks for taking my call. This is Josh Bath at Keller Realty. I'm sure at this point you know your home's expired.
I didn't know that.
Wonderful. Well, listen, I'm here to let you know that. I know your agent probably hasn't called you to tell you at this point. I'm curious. Your home didn't sell while you were on the market. Did you get any offers when it was up for sale?
Yeah, we got 2 offers, but they were low balls.
They were low balls. Okay. And at that point, what were your... With the low balls, did you counter back? Did you get them up to a price that you felt was going to get the home sold?
Yes, I did.
Okay, perfect. Now, do you plan on putting your house back on the market again to try and get the price you're looking for?
Yeah, well, I was thinking I'm just going to probably go with the same agent.
Perfect. Well, I think that's also a great idea. I think you owe it to yourself to interview another agent in this process. See, at this point right now, you haven't seen what I do to get a home sold, have you?
No, I sure haven't.
Okay. Would tomorrow at 4 o'clock work for you? Take about 15 to 25 minutes.
No, I won't be available at 4, but maybe about 5:30. Would that work?
5 o'clock, well, 5:30 works perfectly. Now, will your wife be there as well, too?
Yes, she will.
Excellent. Before I show up, are there any questions you want to ask me before I get there?
What is your commission?
Excellent. I'm glad you asked that question perfectly. Commissions are negotiable, as you know. And after you see the value that I bring to the table, you'll get a sense of what commission feels right for you, okay?
Okay, generally, what do you charge?
What I charge is a commission that based after time on the market and the service that I provide, what I charge is a fair value to get your home sold.
Okay, great. Give him a hand. Let's go back to the question. So, What are you calling for? What is it you want to get out of making these calls?
When you ask the question, the first thing I thought of when it says, what are you asking for? I think really the question itself is, we have to make sure that when we're calling, we're not telling and talking. We're asking questions, and asking questions gives us control of the conversation. Too many times we just want to talk and talk and talk, and when we're talking, in most cases, they're not listening. So when you ask that question, my first instinct was, we need to shift from telling to selling through asking questions, because asking questions will lead to desired response and keep control of the conversation.
Great.
So turn whatever statements you have into questions, and it's something simple you can do by just make a statement and ask a tie down at the end. Make the statement. Doesn't that make sense? You're asking them a question.
And what did tie downs do for us?
Tie downs ask them to basically tie downs are like closes. Does that make sense? yes, you're getting an agreement.
So you're saying it's like mini closers?
Correct.
Okay. One step closer to a yes?
Correct.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Put you on the spot just for a minute now. So you make these calls all the time, and you're calling for a purpose to ask a question. So give me an example of a call you'd make. Expired FISBO, your net database.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to call an expired, which is usually who I'm calling, then an example of the script would be, you want me to take you through it?
If you don't mind.
Sure. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, this is Jeff Glover with Keller Williams Real Estate. How are you doing this morning?
Good.
Hey, the reason why I'm calling is because my computer is showing that your home recently expired, and I was just calling to see what your plans are with that property.
I think we're just going to go ahead and sit on and take it off the market. You know, the market's really terrible right now.
Yeah, I can certainly understand that. I'm curious, if your home had sold, where were you planning on moving to?
Ooh, it's taking me back to emotion. Well, you know, we've outgrown the house. There's 4 children, and there's the wife and I, and it's a 2-bedroom house, and we'd really like to move across town to that bigger house.
So really, you're looking to move across town to get to a bigger home.
Yeah.
And being in a bigger home, what will that do for you and your family?
Well, we don't have to all sleep in that same room.
That makes a lot of sense. And at this point, if we could provide a buyer that would be willing to pay you a fair price so that way you could be in a bigger home with your family, would you be interested in hearing about how we can do that?
Yeah, do you have a buyer?
You know, actually, I work with thousands of buyers on a daily basis, and I haven't even seen their home yet, so I couldn't be able to tell you whether they want the house.
That's a good one. Write that down. Haven't seen your home yet. What can I say to that? You're right.
Right. So I'm going to be in your area on appointments tomorrow anyways, around 3, 4 o'clock. Could I stop by, take a look at your property, see if we can put a plan together to get you in a bigger home?
Absolutely. Love to have you come over. You're sharp. Okay, I'm going to